In the year 1241, Europe trembled beneath the hooves of an unstoppable force. The Mongol Empire, masters of terror, lightning warfare, and endless conquest, had swept across Asia, burning empires and breaking kings. When they reached Hungary, no one believed the small kingdom could stand against such devastation. But what began as a tragedy would become a rebirth, a story of survival, defiance, and ultimate victory. This is how Hungary, through fire, blood, and cunning, finally crushed the Mongols and ended the reign of the world's most feared empire. The dawn of the 13th century brought a storm unlike any Europe had ever known. From the vast steppes of Mongolia, the armies of Genghis Khan carved a path of destruction across continents, building the largest empire the world had ever seen. Their speed, precision, and brutality stunned even the mightiest rulers of the age. When Genghis Khan's successors turned their gaze westward, no fortress, no army, and no king seemed safe from the shadow of their banners. By the time Baita Khan and Subutai reached the plains of Eastern Europe, nations were already collapsing. The Mongols had burned through Poland, annihilated the Rus princes, and sent waves of refugees fleeing toward the Hungarian plains. Europe whispered in terror. The horsemen of hell were coming. King Béla IV of Hungary watched in disbelief as smoke rose from his borders. The apocalypse was not a prophecy anymore. It was at his doorstep. As the Mongol scouts crossed the Carpathian Mountains, the Hungarian people faced an impossible choice: flee or fight. Béla IV called for unity, summoning nobles, peasants, and knights from every corner of the realm. But internal rivalries, pride, and mistrust divided them. The Mongols didn't just exploit weakness, they fed on it. And Hungary was about to learn that lesson the hardest way possible. In the spring of 1241, the Hungarian plains became a killing field. At the Battle of Mohi, Béla's army, tens of thousands strong, was caught in a trap designed by the Mongol genius Subutai. Using fake retreats, feigned confusion, and hidden river crossings, the Mongols encircled the Hungarians like wolves closing in on prey. Within hours, the army was shattered, the noble class decimated, and the king barely escaped with his life. The devastation was beyond words. Cities were burned, monasteries looted, and entire villages erased from existence. The Mongols moved methodically, ensuring no resistance could rise again. The once proud Hungarian kingdom lay in ruins, its survivors fleeing toward the forests and mountains. The Mongols had proven their legend true. They were invincible. But something strange began to stir in the ashes. As the Mongols advanced deeper into Europe, they found fewer resources, harsher terrain, and no willing allies. The Hungarian people, though broken, were not defeated. From their shattered land, whispers began to rise of men and women who would not yield, who would learn from the terror and turn it back upon their conquerors. King Béla IV fled to Dalmatia, humiliated but alive. In exile, he reflected on the collapse of his kingdom and the arrogance that had blinded his people. He saw clearly now, Hungary had been destroyed not only by the Mongol strength, but by its own disunity. To rebuild, he needed not vengeance, but wisdom. Béla's vision began to form, a stronger, fortified, and united Hungary, one that would never again be caught unprepared. As the Mongols swept across Eastern Europe, their power seemed limitless, but it carried hidden weaknesses. Their supply lines stretched thin, and their horses, the soul of their army, began to starve in unfamiliar terrain. Hungarian survivors observed and adapted. They learned the Mongols' tactics, mobility, deception, and intelligence gathering, and began to use them in secret raids from the mountains. By 1242, the Mongols abruptly withdrew from Europe. Some said it was the death of Ögedei Khan in the east that forced their retreat. Others believed the harsh climate and scorched lands had broken their will. For Hungary, the withdrawal was not a victory, it was a warning. The storm had passed, but it would return. Béla swore that when it did, Hungary would be ready. When Béla IV returned to his shattered kingdom, he found nothing but ruins and despair. Yet from those ruins he began one of the most remarkable reconstructions in medieval Europe. He offered land to settlers, encouraged the building of stone fortresses, and welcomed foreign craftsmen to rebuild cities. Hungary became a hive of renewal, a nation reborn from ashes. The king's reforms were radical. He empowered the towns, strengthened the nobility, and built hundreds of fortresses across the Carpathian Basin. Every stone laid was a promise that never again would Hungary fall so easily. The scars of Mohi were carved deep into the nation's soul, and they would become the foundation of its strength. As word spread of Béla's determination, hope returned. The Mongols had left behind a broken kingdom, but the people who survived had become something stronger, disciplined, united, and unafraid. Hungary was transforming from prey into predator, and its enemies would soon learn that Europe's weak link had become its iron shield. 4 decades later, the Mongols returned. Under Nogai Khan and Telebuga, they once again set their sights on Europe, seeking revenge for the humiliation of their earlier withdrawal. Their scouts crossed into Hungarian territory, expecting an easy conquest like before. But what they found shocked them: castles of stone, fortified cities, and armies waiting with discipline and strategy. Béla's legacy had endured. His son and successor, Stephen V, had continued his father's work, building alliances with neighboring powers and strengthening Hungary's defenses. This was not the same kingdom the Mongols had crushed in 1241. The people were hardened, the leaders prepared, and the land itself transformed into a fortress. As the Mongol horde advanced in 1285, they faced a new kind of warfare. Every bridge was burned behind them, every field poisoned, every village emptied. The Hungarians had learned the art of denial, turning their homeland into a trap. For the first time, the hunters were being hunted. The Mongols, enraged by resistance, marched on Pest, the heart of Hungary. Expecting submission, they instead found defiance. The city's stone walls held firm against their siege engines, and the defenders rained down fire and arrows from above. Mongol assaults failed again and again. Winter began to set in, and the invaders realized too late that their prey had evolved. Inside the city, morale was high. Messengers brought news of resistance across the kingdom. Hungarian lords and peasants fighting side by side, ambushing Mongol patrols, destroying supply wagons, and vanishing into forests. Pest stood as a symbol. Hungary would not fall again. When disease and hunger struck the Mongol camps, panic spread. Their horses, the key to their speed and dominance, began dying in the bitter cold. The siege of Pest turned into a nightmare for the invaders. What was once Europe's greatest terror was now bleeding to death in the snow. The Hungarians had discovered the power of their terrain. In the Carpathian Mountains, small bands of fighters ambushed Mongol units, striking swiftly and melting into the forests. The invaders, unaccustomed to fighting in such harsh and narrow passes, began to suffer heavy losses. Peasants poisoned wells, destroyed roads, and left nothing behind for the Mongols to feed on. The land itself became an enemy. Unlike in 1241, where open plains favored the horsemen, now the forests and frozen rivers were traps. The Mongols, once masters of maneuver, were being hunted by ghosts. Reports from surviving scouts painted a grim picture. The Hungarians were no longer terrified victims, but relentless warriors. They moved with intelligence and precision, using Mongol tactics against their teachers. The empire that once conquered the world was now facing defeat, not by numbers, but by adaptation. By early spring, the Mongol invasion had lost momentum. Their generals were dead or retreating, their supply lines shattered. Hungarian forces struck back in organized counterattacks, reclaiming towns and driving the invaders toward the mountains. The myth of Mongol invincibility was collapsing. King Ladislaus IV, young but bold, led the final push. His knights, once crushed at Mohi, now charged with iron discipline. The Mongols, starving and disoriented, could no longer fight as a united force. For the first time in history, they were retreating not by command, but by fear. The Battle of Transylvania became the breaking point. Trapped in the snow, surrounded on all sides, Mongol units were annihilated by Hungarian cavalry and mountain fighters. The invaders who once called themselves the Scourge of God were running, hunted through the very lands they had once burned. The retreat of 1285 marked the first decisive defeat of the Mongols in Europe. Broken and demoralized, their armies limped back across the Carpathians. The Mongols left behind thousands of dead, frozen horses and burned camps, the remnants of a shattered dream. Hungary, scarred but standing, had done what no other nation had achieved. It had stopped the Mongols through strength, unity, and patience. Their strategy had transformed from direct confrontation to calculated resistance. By mastering endurance and geography, they had turned the impossible into victory. The retreat was not just a military failure for the Mongols, it was psychological. The empire that once inspired terror now inspired hope. Across Europe, kingdoms took note. If Hungary could resist the wrath of the steppe, perhaps the Mongols were not gods after all. After the second invasion, Hungary solidified its reputation as the shield of Europe. The castles built under Béla's vision now formed a network of defense unmatched in the region. Stone walls rose from every hilltop, and trade cities thrived behind them. What the Mongols had once destroyed, the Hungarians had turned into the foundation of a golden age. Nobles who had once fled now became defenders of their land. The church and the crown worked in unity to rebuild education, administration, and diplomacy. Hungary's military reforms became models for other kingdoms facing Eastern threats. In the decades that followed, Hungary stood not as a victim of the Mongol terror, but as the nation that broke it. Its transformation from devastation to dominance became one of the greatest comebacks in medieval history. The Mongol Empire began to fracture soon after its defeat in Hungary. Internal conflicts, succession struggles, and overextension tore it apart from within. The defeat in Central Europe had shown the world that the Mongols could be resisted and that their power had limits. In Asia, rival Khanates rose, each claiming legitimacy, but lacking the unity of Genghis's era. The empire that once stretched from Korea to the Adriatic began to fade into legend. Hungary's defiance had played a quiet but decisive role in that unraveling. Meanwhile, Hungarian chronicles recorded their survival, not as a miracle, but as divine justice. They believed that courage, faith, and resilience had triumphed over fear. The story of their endurance became part of Europe's collective memory, a lesson that even the mightiest can fall. Béla IV was remembered not for his defeat at Mohi, but for what he built afterward. He was called the second founder of Hungary, for under his rule the kingdom was reborn. His vision of a fortified, unified nation had saved Europe's heart from collapse. Historians would later argue that without Béla's foresight, the Mongols might have conquered all of Western Europe. The walls he ordered, the towns he encouraged, and the resilience he inspired became the shield that stopped the eastward tide. His descendants carried his legacy forward, ensuring that Hungary remained vigilant, prosperous, and proud. Béla had turned humiliation into transformation, and in doing so had changed the course of European history. Through the centuries, Hungary's resistance became legend. Travelers and chroniclers spoke of a land that stood firm where others had fallen. The castles of Eger, Buda, and Visegrad became symbols of defiance, stone monuments to a people who refused to die. The Mongols never returned in force, and Hungary's fortresses continued to guard Europe's frontier against later invasions, including the rising Ottoman threat. The lessons learned from the Mongol wars, unity, preparation, and adaptation, became part of the Hungarian soul. By mastering both the sword and the plow, Hungary proved that survival is not born of strength alone, but of will. And in that will, Europe found its defender. Hungary's survival inspired a transformation across the continent. Other kingdoms began fortifying their cities, organizing intelligence networks, and rethinking warfare. The myth of Mongol invincibility was dead, and Europe's era of fear turned into one of confidence. The balance of power began to shift. Trade revived, borders stabilized, and communication between nations grew stronger. The age of isolated kingdoms gave way to a united Europe that could resist foreign conquest. In many ways, Hungary's defiance had preserved not just its borders, but Europe's civilization itself. The day Hungary crushed the Mongols was more than a military victory. It was the rebirth of European courage. The final echoes of Mongol hooves faded from the Hungarian plains, leaving behind silence where terror once reigned. In that silence, the people rebuilt their homes, plowed their fields, and raised their children without fear. The land that had seen ruin now witnessed peace. The Mongols' defeat in Hungary marked a turning point in history, the moment the unstoppable was stopped. It was proof that even the greatest empire can be broken by courage, unity, and resilience. And so, from the ashes of destruction rose a kingdom that refused to die. Hungary had faced the apocalypse and survived. On that day, the most feared empire on earth met its match, and the world changed forever. Empires rise, empires fall, but the strength of a nation lies not in its armies, but in its spirit. Hungary's defiance against the Mongols stands as a timeless reminder. No enemy is invincible, and no defeat is final. In the face of annihilation, they chose to fight, to learn, and to endure. And in doing so, they changed the course of history. If you enjoyed this story, remember, history isn't just about the past. It's the echo of humanity's greatest battles, lessons, and triumphs. Subscribe for more forgotten stories that shaped our world. And never forget the day Hungary crushed the Mongols, and fear itself